Hey Sparks, my name is Chris. I'm okay. And this is Sparkplug TV. Alright, welcome back to another episode where I do car reviews for literally everyone, not just car enthusiasts. If you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you think I'm cute, please hit the subscribe button. And then, if you feel so inclined, comment something super nice down below that will stroke my ego a little bit, because I really do love attention. Anyways, today I'm going to be reviewing a 2021 Hyundai Palisade Limited thanks to Johnson Hyundai of Cary. Johnson Hyundai of Cary is the #1 volume Hyundai dealership in North Carolina and recently just opened a second location up in Wake Forest. Check the link in the description below. So you may be wondering to yourself, why is he not doing the 2022? Well, I'm doing the 2021 today because the 2022s are selling like hotcakes, and to be completely honest, there's really not that big of a difference between the 2022 model and the 2021. So the Palisade, named after the Pacific Palisades in California, which I didn't even know was an actual thing until researching this, is Hyundai's mid-size 7-passenger crossover SUV, originally debuting for the 2020 model year to replace the Santa Fe XL. From now on, I'll be referring to her as Miss Palisade, and Miss Palisade is powered by a 3.8-liter direct-inject V6 engine coupled to an 8-speed automatic transmission that outputs 291 horsepower and 261 pound-feet of torque at 5,200 RPMs. This model has an all-wheel drive drivetrain, but you can get it optioned with just the front-wheel drive, and it also has the ability to tow 5,000 pounds with both drivetrains, which is kind of the equivalent weight of me after a night out at Chili's.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds and a top speed of 130 miles per hour. Now, I wouldn't say that fuel economy is totally best in class because it does get 19 in the city and 24 miles per gallon on the highway, especially if you are a family hauler and you need to save on gas. Not the most idealistic, but at least it doesn't take premium. So Miss Palisade comes in 4 trim levels starting at $36,000 and can be optioned all the way up into the calligraphy pack for $49,900. The Limited, however, is $48,000. Here's a list of all the trims, features, pricing, etc. All laid out and all nice and neat like. The midsize crossover SUV market is literally one of the craziest and most popular markets in the US right now. And seeing as I'm filming this in the suburbs, and said market is primarily dominated by suburban moms, I thought I'd ask my wonderful mother what she thought of this car. Do you like it?
I don't dislike it, but not bad.
Okay.
Wow, this is kind of cool.
Actually?
Yeah, no, I'm lying.
Well, I don't know.
No, I'm serious. It's like, I feel like I'm in like the cockpit of an airplane though. Where do you turn it on? Do the key?
Yeah.
Oh, hello. I like it.
What do you think about the material? Like all of this?
What is this?
It's wood grain.
That's wood?
Yeah, apparently.
Huh, that's interesting. It's not bad.
Would you say it's
Oh, look, this matches the grill.
Oh.
Bet you didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't make that inference. No, I didn't. Does it have the mom stamp of approval? If Chase and I were still kids, could you see yourself in this?
Yeah, actually I could. It's roomy back there for 3 rows. I didn't even know it had 3 rows when I was outside. No, I actually like the inside. I think I like the inside better than the outside.
Me too. Aw, thanks, Mom. Sadly, the Palisade did fall short of its distant cousin, the Kia Telluride, being outsold by 15 or so thousand units. Nothing, however, can beat the almighty Ford Explorer! Well, you certainly cannot deny the fact that Miss Palisade is making quite the statement with this front end. What statement that might be is up to you to decide. But for me, She's definitely saying an H with this front end. I definitely think that the LED daytime running lights kind of look like the outside of an H, and then this little part right here that kind of extends across the center kind of completes the H look for Hyundai, right? I mean, that's what it's giving me, whereas like the Kia Telluride kind of looks like just a horizontal bar that goes across the front end. There's a trend going on nowadays with these headlights that are right here, as opposed to giving an actual headlight moment, like it's just giving kind of an afterthought. It's definitely something that I'm having to get used to. I don't know if people really care that much, but for me, these headlights just kind of all look the same. These daytime running lights are definitely unique, especially with this orange one kind of right here off to the side. The dotted kind of silver front grille is definitely very strong and an iconic like Hyundai kind of look to it. It's also very butch and very tough and masculine, right? But I don't know, I'm indifferent. I really cannot decide whether or not I like the front end. It's not my favorite, but I'm also, I don't know, again, it all just depends on what you like. As for the side of Miss Palisade, she doesn't make quite as strong a statement as she does up front, but it doesn't need to make that strong of a statement on the side. The fenders are painted fenders because the Limited and the Calligraphy do come with those options. The SE and the SEL do come with the plastic ones. And I do think that this does add a nicer kind of elegant luxury feature to it.
Elegant yet bold look, seeing the elegance of an elegant vehicle.
The SE and the SEL do come with 19-inch alloy rims. With the Limited and the Calligraphy pack, you do get the 20-inch rims. These are just standard 5-spoke rims. There's nothing too special about it. Again, it's not making too much of a statement, but I do think that they look nice. The back end kind of follows suit with the front end's design, where it kind of copies this H-style look with the stacked horizontal taillights, as well as it clearly says Palisade across the back. I mean, if you had the Telluride, it would say Telluride across the back as well. But there's really not much else to the design of the back. It just looks like a typical standard crossover SUV. And then the tailpipe is a dual exhaust tailpipe that is just one tailpipe split into two to make it look more aggressive, I guess. Now, in terms of the lift gate, of course, it is automatic, convenient for all of those mothers with all of those groceries that they've got going on. With the third row seats up, you do get 18 cubic feet of storage capacity, as well as you do get this little bin down here, so you can put some groceries down there, as well as some groceries up top. One of my favorite features is gonna be the third row seat folding buttons that fold down automatically at the touch of a button. You can also control it with the infotainment system up front. And then with the third row down, in total you do get 45.8 cubic feet of storage, but only 4 seats to sit in. And then with another touch of a button, you can put the second row down. But you're not able to put the second row back up. You do have to manually put that back up. But in total, you do get 86.4 cubic feet of storage, which is pretty impressive for the mid-size crossover SUV market. It's one of the largest, I'm pretty sure, in the market. And if you're like me and you don't have a family to fill this car with, you can put all the seats down, take somebody out on a date, look up at the stars through the moonroof, and ask them existential crisis questions.
Do you believe in God? Can I hold your hand?
Okay, on to the Palisade's interior. So because this is a Limited, it does come with the Nappa leather seats that are perforated both in the front and the back. And it's also got this nice black piping as well to give it that elegant look.
You're stepping in the Palisade, you can recognize that elegance.
The front seats are heated and cooled, as well as the steering wheel is heated. And the back seats are not only heated, but they're also cooled, which is That's pretty nice. The interior itself in general, I think they tried. I think they tried. I mean, at the price point, this isn't really like a center console as much as this is a command center right here. If you push this button, it will slowly slide open, and then you've got a wireless charging pad here for your phone, and then you've got these really interesting cup holders that you can close and make the compartment space larger, and then if you need a cup holder, you just press the button and then it will pop out and then you have a cup holder. Over here there is the different drive selectors. There's Smart, Sport, Comfort, Eco, Snow, and then you can also lock the differential to have full-time all-wheel drive. Most of the time you're going to be in front-wheel drive with a little bit of help from the back wheels, but you can lock it and have equal power to both the front and the back. There is a button that you can turn off the automatic start-stop thing, which is great for me because we all know how much I loathe that option. And then of course you do have a tri-zone automatic climate control system. The materials are okay. I think that, you know, there's this like soft plasticky kind of leather up top. The wood grain is a little suspect. I don't know how much I love it. I feel like if it came in a different color, it might look a little better, like a darker color, it might be better, but It kind of just reminds me of like IKEA wood. Like it's just press board. But again, I mean, I understand that they're cutting costs because it is a standard vehicle and it's like bordering between like a luxury vehicle and a standard vehicle. You know, there is soft touch leather right here as well. And then the silver trim down here. These buttons on the dashboard do kind of remind me of like the Genesises. These buttons remind me of the Genesis. You know, they're big enough that you can find them, and the majority of the center console is actually pretty easy to deal with. The material I forgot to mention as well is this kind of center console. It's got this like cross-stitching, almost kind of carbon fiber look to it, and it's got the same kind of touch over here as well. The same kind of cross stitch. There's multiple different kinds of materials. It's a lot. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad. I'm very just indifferent about this car's design as a whole. So for the instrument panels, you do have a 10.25 touchscreen infotainment system, as well as a 12.3-inch fully digital gauge cluster. Again, not to be redundant, but this is very similar to my Elantras. It's very standard Hyundai. You do have a built-in navigation. There's no wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. I did find out, actually, I know in my last Hyundai video that I didn't understand why, but I did find out that if the car has factory navigation in it, then you can only plug in your phone for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Voice recognition is a lot better in here than the Ioniq. You can't control it nearly as much as you can in the Ioniq, but there's one really cool feature. The previous owner of this car had favorited the passenger talk setting. So most family SUVs and minivans nowadays do have this like passenger talk thing where it amplifies your voice if you're sitting in the front so that you don't endanger the passengers and you can scold them from the front seat instead of turning around.
Pipe the down back there, I swear to God, I'll turn this rust bucket around if you kids don't knock it off. Hey, Jimmy, get your hands off your brother.
Because it's a limited, it does come with the Harman Kardon sound system, and it does sound very, very nice. The gauge cluster, it's actually, I think, out of all of the digital gauge clusters that I've seen for Hyundai, I think that this is the best one that they've got. The gauge cluster also does have a heads-up display on top, where it's just a clear projection up onto the windshield. It's not one of those gimmicky kind of plastic pieces that come out of the dashboard. It's the most detailed heads-up display I've personally seen to date. I'm sure that there's other heads-up displays that are just as detailed. But from what I've seen, you can see the blind spot monitoring status on both the left and the right side of the vehicle. You can see the lane keep assist, and it's got augmented navigation for the navigation, as well as your miles per hour, your speedometer. The steering wheel itself is like kind of standard Hyundai. I wish that it was the same steering wheel that I have in my Elantra, which is like that kind of silver steering wheel with a more oval shape. This is a little bit dated, the steering wheel, I think. It's not terrible. I mean, it's a bigger car and it needs a bigger steering wheel. It does come with obviously automatic headlights, and it does actually have automatic windshield wipers as well. Radar guided cruise control, lane keep assist, and it does have highway driving assist as well. So it's got the first gen of the highway driving assist where it keeps you center in the lane. The widescreen infotainment center, you can have your media, the time, and then the weather or, you know, sports or whatever it is that you're into. On the right-hand side, you can edit the widgets, you can edit the icons. Iconic! There's a lot of customization in this car. You can customize literally everything that you want, right down to the color of the ambient lighting in this car. So I personally right now have the ambient lighting set to, currently I have it set to a custom color, but you do have the option between lightning violet, aurora purple, jade green, ocean blue, moon white, ice blue, but I think that my favorite color is probably a blue for the Palisade. I think that it goes nicely with the interior, but you can set it to however you want. And you can set the brightness of it as well, which I think is a great customization tool. And then finally, of course, you do have the dual sunroof, or like the moon roof, I guess. You do have this manual one that you have to pull back here, and then you have a button for here, and then you do have the automatic sliding panel in the back, but you can't open the one in the back. Speaking of the back, let's get back there. So this version of the Palisade is a 7-passenger Palisade, but you can get it with the bench seat. With the 8-passenger, the back seat in general is actually extremely comfortable. You can move the seats forward and back, and then you can recline if you so choose. And it's just really comfortable. And again, I'm super surprised that you even have heated and cooled seats. Of course, I've heard of heated seats, but it's got the automatic climate control system back here, as well as a house outlet plug. There's also 2 USB ports, one in both captain's chairs up front, but it's like behind on this plastic piece. In the back as well, you do have these Again, another kind of luxury feature, these sunshades. And, you know, it's for children, I'm assuming, or if you just want to be a posh, then they're also for you as well. It's a nice touch, you know? They're not automatic like Mercedes or anything like that, but they're nice. Contrary to the intro part of my video, it is actually really easy for an adult passenger to get in and out of the back seat of this car. I think that one qualm that people will probably have is that it won't be as easy to get in and out of the back if you have a car seat here. But there is a button right here on the head, near the headrest of the second row seat, and you press it and it just slides forward and you're able to get into the back. Now the back is really interesting because you also do, not only do you have your own personal USB charger here, but you do also have another set of two cup holders, one for me and one for the person over here. The other really interesting feature for the back third row is that you do have an automatic reclining system. That's a really cool option, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, well, now that I have covered all 3 rows of this car, let's take Miss Palisade out on the road, shall we? Okay, driving Miss Hyundai Palisade. Couple features I forgot to mention earlier. The blind spot monitoring system does come with the blind spot monitoring cameras. So whenever you turn the turn signal right or left, like I'm doing now, a live feed will populate of the blind spot of your vehicle. It's not the best camera feed I've ever seen, especially for, it seems a little delayed. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. Another feature I forgot to mention are the paddle shifters, which I don't think that some moms that are driving this are even gonna know what the paddle shifters are. I mean, I know that my mom wouldn't know. Sorry, Mom. That's right. Yeah, because she has paddle shifters on her Mercedes and she doesn't even use them. But this does have the paddle shifters, so now I'm going to turn off all of the nanny systems and I'm going to downshift. Punch it a little bit. You know, it might not be the fastest one on the market, especially in terms of 0 to 60 and top speed, but it is definitely, it's quick and it sounds quick. I mean, you definitely won't have any anxiety passing people on the highway because it can definitely get up and go when it needs to. The transmission is smooth. The transmission is so smooth. I'm very pleased by the transmission. I wish that my Elantra had this 8-speed because this 8-speed is clutch, no pun intended. The ride height too feels a lot taller than it actually is. It almost took some getting used to for me. Going around this corner. Whoa! Oh! That was quite the body roll. That was borderline dangerous. All right, so now I'm about to get on the highway and try out the highway driving assist. You know, I gotta say though, this is very intuitive and it's very nice. It doesn't overcorrect itself like most of these systems do. This actually really does keep you center in the lane. I'm looking at the side view mirror and it's keeping it dead center. It's doing it better than I would. This is impressive. Okay, kids, you know what time it is. Timmy, shut up! Just kidding. Final thoughts. Well, thanks again to Johnson Hyundai of Cary for sponsoring today's video. I very much appreciate it. So, pros and cons. Here we go. Pros of this vehicle. I will initially start off with the technology. I think that the technology is standard Hyundai. I think it's got all the, you know, the perks that you come to expect from buying a Hyundai. You know, the touchscreen is super responsive. The gauge cluster is really nice. And the heads-up display is, so far from what I've seen, one of the best ones, you know, that I've seen, basically. Another pro would probably be the transmission. The transmission is super duper smooth. I really enjoyed it. Even just manually shifting gears with the paddle shifters made it an enjoyable experience for sure. Another pro would be the sound system. The sound system is really, really nice. The Harman Kardon is, I don't know what the standard sounds like, but it's definitely, the Harman Kardon is definitely a good one. Another pro would be the highway driving assist. Really, really crisp. It actually keeps you straight, like dead center in the lane. Like it doesn't veer left or right. It actually keeps you center in the lane and it's very good at it. I'm I was very surprised. Another pro would definitely be the back seats. I mean, you know, the second and third row are super comfortable. I can fit in the third row. If everybody kind of accommodates for my size, everybody still has more than enough leg room, and it's super comfortable. Another pro would be the fact that there are cooled seats in the back as well. Never seen that before. Finally, the final pro I'll say is the overall interface of the vehicle. I think everything is very easily laid out. It's very easily accessible and very easy to understand. There are a lot of buttons, yes, but there's also not at the same time, if that makes sense. It's like just the right amount of buttons. So for the cons, would probably be the overall design. One of my dear friends described the front end of the Palisade as an electric shaver, and I kind of agree. I think that while it might not be for me, it might be for you. I don't know. I'm not into it, but you might be. It's not for me. I would go for the Telluride over the Palisade in terms of looks. I think that the steering wheel is also a con. I don't love the design of the steering wheel. I think it needs to be updated. This is giving me 2010 through 2015 Hyundai, and the interior kind of just seems like a knockoff luxury brand. And yes, this is the flagship SUV of Hyundai. I understand that it's a standard vehicle and therefore it should have standard materials. It shouldn't try to have this like IKEA wood grain press board head ass. Oh God, Christ, how could I forget? Con is the handling. I almost died. Obviously, you're not going to Le Mans in this. I think that the suspension is fine for when you're driving along. It's very comfortable. If you're in a sticky situation and you need to get around a corner, you're gonna flip. Like, it's scary. Another con, it's a small con, and I mean, it can probably be updated with, like, it might be better in the 22, I don't know, but the lane departure cameras need to be upgraded a little bit. They're not, I understand what it's going for, but I mean, Honda's got better cameras than this one, for sure. So this isn't really necessarily for me, but it's a great family car, I think. I mean, it's got a lot of easy adaptable features, and it's incredibly intuitive. So, on that note, thanks again for watching Sparkplug TV. The more followers I get, the more grateful I feel. So thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Should I wave like the Queen? Goodbye. Goodbye, I'm gonna die soon. Hey Sparks, thanks for watching today's video. If you want more Sparkplug TV content, click right here. Right here. You got two options. Choose one, or both.